fix up the shirt a bit. Now let's begin. Once again, this is going to be a video where you guys get absolutely nothing out of it. I was going through some things last night. I was like thinking about what my next topic idea for a video was going to be, and then it came to me in not a dream but a very sleep deprived state of being. I was just sitting on my laptop and I was like, damn, I really want to keep talking shit about regular show. And a little voice in the back of my head was like, remember when you had a crush on Mordecai? And then I got to thinking, remember when at the age of, look at my notes, of 5 to 7, you had a crush on Luigi. No, not Luigi, like a friendly, overweight man that sells you pizza with a thick Italian accent. I mean the Italian plumber from the Nintendo games. And then I got to thinking even more. I got to thinking about the entire roster of my, you know, fictional crushes that I've had over time. I started to see a pattern, and now I kind of want to dissect that part about myself in front of you guys. The only thing I want to do is dissect my life and share almost every single part of my life with you. And the title of this video, it might be the title of my notes, if you can read that. Clarissa hearts pathetic men. Why? And that's a great question. I have to get a rundown of all of this list of cartoon / fictional crushes, because some of them are not cartoons. In fact, some of them are portrayed by very real actors. So let's go down this list. Okay. So the very first off, and I've already mentioned, is Luigi from the Mario Brothers. From the ages of 5 to 7, I would play on my DS. I would play all these games, and on the mini games and stuff, I was just so captivated by this character that just wore this beautiful emerald green hat. In comparison to his brother, he was lean, he was fit, he wasn't too thin, and he wasn't too fat. He was just right, he was lean. But there was something else very captivating about him. Every time I played as Mario, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm Mario, I need to save Peach, right? But in the case of Luigi, I was like, oh my god, I need to save him. Out of all of the brothers, all of the Mario brothers, Wario and Waluigi included, this is the biggest punk of them all. Like, this is the biggest of them all. I don't know what that says about me, but I might have to, like, I think I'm going to, you know, kind of like gather notes here and say what that says about me. So I'm gonna be taking notes through this every time I get like a little thing. Biggest punk / pussy. There you go. And then I got introduced to the whole Luigi's Mansion thing. That man was shivering in his timbers the entire game. But that's who my mind as a 5 to 7-year-old decided to fixate on. I find it very... My mom just got home, you guys. Anyway, and if I wasn't maining Daisy, I was maining Luigi. But when I would main Daisy, and this is like so anti-feminist of me, it would be as an extension of my crush on Luigi. I sound insane right now, but I really don't care. Because in my mind, Mario belonged with Peach, Peach with Mario, and then Luigi with Daisy, Daisy with Luigi, right? Do you feel me? So that was that. Yeah, there's really not much else to say. I mean, I could give you guys very embarrassing anecdotes about how when I was a little girl, we would all play house and we would be married to imaginary fictional characters, and I would always marry Luigi. We're actually gonna move on to the next point. I will do this chronologically. We get to Mordecai. Oh yes. Oh, absolutely we do. Yeah. Mordecai. 23-year-old Blue Jay at the beginning of the series. Remains a Blue Jay, but he grows throughout the series. In fact, he looks about 40 by the end of it. Something about Mordecai. I knew that I was going to end up having a type. I don't don't know if it was the episode with rude. I don't know if it was the episode with Muscle Man and Starla when they break up in season 2. Like, that's the very first introduction we get to Starla. Muscle Man and her broke up, and Mordecai dates Starla because in Rigby's mind, because again, this is of course a Rigby-esque idea, he's gotta, you know, break up with her and then she'll go running back to Muscle Man. That doesn't happen. In fact, she causes millions of dollars of damage to the park.
I just love my dog. Yeah. Nigga, my brother told me how to taste.
But I mean, yeah, eventually Muscle Man speaks from the heart, but under Mordecai's instruction. I don't know if it was that episode that just was like, wow, this man, this Blue Jay that is so emotionally in touch with his emotions. He has that emotional maturity. No, he doesn't, actually. No, he doesn't. Clarissa, from ages 10 to 11, he doesn't. He took 2 bitches to the same movie. Editing Clarissa from the future, not only did he invite 2 bitches to the same movie, my brain must have erased this from my mind. He hijacked his co-worker's wedding to admit that basically the one that he's dating, the cloud one, CJ, that's not the one, and he doesn't know who his soulmate is while looking at Margaret. This is why Mordecai deserves the absolute least. And I'm so sick and tired of him. Like, I don't even know what I was thinking at ages 10 to 11. Peppy, do not pass by through here. Thank you. She's like right here, you guys. Look at her. Look at her. But anyway, the fact that I thought that this scrawny Blue Jay that was just like speaking from the heart, pretension, and went to art school was going to provide for me, it's absolutely baffling. I will give myself some grace because I was like 10, 11, but it would also very much change the trajectory of my life, because that is how I would make decisions after that, because again, I was very young. But the most pathetic character in that show, by the way, oh my gosh, yeah, evil cats. The rest of the cast: obese ex-bodybuilder, pushover friend, rambunctious friend who's allergic to eggs, ex-drummer of legendary rock group that was replaced by a machine and ended up working at a park, big-headed man. And I can't even shit on Skips, because Skips like that, like, I get that. He saw the bitch die in front of him, bro. And yet he kept his dignity throughout all of that, and he's immortal. That's pretty badass. Like, I'm surprised he didn't go full-blown Kanye. But still, out of everything else that I've listed in the other characters, there are redeeming qualities. This motherfucker right here had no redeeming qualities throughout the show at all. He might have done some good things, but nothing cancels out the true pathetic nature. But for some reason, I was just drawn to that. And before y'all say, Clarissa, that's a fucking bird. Man, if only you guys had met me during my Five Nights at Freddy's phase, this would be a whole different conversation. By the way, just not worth having. Because I was a Freddy fast fuck. Akira from Devilman Crybaby. Now, I'm going to be very fair on this one, because having emotions does not make you pathetic. In the canonical world of this show, he is considered pathetic, a full-blown demon, and you're just sobbing in front of multiple people. They themselves are calling you pathetic. I didn't think that way, and I'm pretty sure like 95% of the viewers watching that scene did not find it pathetic. But I wasn't just not finding it pathetic. I found it so beautiful. I found myself captivated by this demon dude. But throughout all of this, like, even that being said, he was still considered the most pathetic of them all. Pussy ass, they would call him Crybaby. That it's in the name of the show. I don't know what else to say about it, but that, I'm just listing the many characters that fall into this. I haven't watched Devilman Crybaby in a very long time, and there's a lot of reasons for that. The biggest reason is, honestly, I don't want to. I've seen some girls want to go with Ryu, what was his name? That dude, blonde, twinkie looking dude. It's not for me. I love a man that breaks the heteronormative, but that was just, it was a little too much for me. He seemed way too cruel for me. And I just couldn't fuck with it because he was messing with my man who was Akira. So that's all I have to say about that. And that one was from ages 13 to 15. On to the next one. So the next characters, because this is a franchise, from 16 to 17, I was really big on a game called Danganronpa. Now, I don't want to go into anything about it. I would like you guys to guess. Timestamp it right now and comment who you think I'm going to say. It's 2. I'm only gonna say 2 because the other ones were really iffy. Like, they were really iffy. But these ones, I was dead set going to marry both of them. I was going to live out my challenger's dream with both of them. So just comment right now who you think while I sip my water. It was so hot today, by the way. Characters were Kazuichi and Nagito. Who saw that shit coming? I'm not proud of who I was. Okay, let's put that out there. This man right here, he faced so much rejection from this blonde girl, and it just made him look so utterly pathetic. And it was just something so admirable that you could just allow yourself to just, you know, be so openly pathetic. And that's what drew me in. The same thing with Nagito, who was probably gay, but let's not get into that chit chat. Also very pathetic. So self-loathing. So obsessed with someone that he just believes is better than him. He believes everyone is better than him. And I'm sorry, but if you think that this fool with the fucking garlic head is better than you, I think like that is just such a low point. In my mind, I was just like, ay pobrecito, like I can literally take care of him. And that's what it is with all of these characters, except Mordecai, because I was really just like, I was probably like, I was on Adderall at the time, that maybe that like fucked my perception of shit, but I was drawn in for some reason, and it was probably the medication. So I'm gonna blame that now. In the case of Nagito and Kazuichi, like those fan fictions, never were they in a position where they were superior to the other person they're with. They were always in a weaker position, and just like I needed to coddle them. Up next, now we've stopped with the cartoon. That being said, Tyrell Wellick from Mr. Robot, from ages 17 or 16 to now. I will forever defend Tyrell. Yes, he killed that girl at the beginning, but like, what if she just had a bad vibe? Oh my gosh, I really am defending men murdering women. Like, this is a low point for me. Like, that girl did nothing. In fact, he was the one being a dog, cheating on his wife, who, by the way, doesn't love him. I love men whose wives don't love them. Not in real life. This only extends to fiction. Damn, like, there's just something so alluring about a man who's just not getting any emotional support or unconditional love from the people around. It creates this aura. That's what the kids are calling it nowadays, the aura. We need to wrap this up. I saw Tyrell and I was like, this is my man. He's not hard at all. Like, he's not that stone cold type of thing that he tries to pass on. He's like he's pathetic. He's just like, he's sad. He's like a little tiny gatito, you know, like. And it's like, there's this whole thing where it's like, you're supposed to be this like stone cold killer like Patrick Bateman, who, by the way, is also very, very pathetic. I should have added that to the list. I'm adding it to the list. No, I really didn't pay attention to the show. I was really mostly paying attention to fucking like wide doe eyes he would make every single time Elliot was on screen. And by the way, Elliot did not like him. I don't care how many of you Tyrelliot fucks come into my comments saying he just had a very horrible relationship with men growing up. And yeah, that two things can be true at once. He had a horrible relationship with men because he was molested by one. But it could also be true that, I don't know, Tyrell made him uncomfortable as shit. He did not like Tyrell. Never once loved Tyrell. He wanted to save Tyrell out of pity. It was out of pity. I don't care. And yes, maybe my media literacy is like so low, and this is coming to you guys as a shipper, because sometimes I like my love not to be reciprocal. You know what I'm saying? And it will be shipped. It will be shipped. He just didn't fuck with him. But I about Tyrell again and again and again looking pathetic on screen. He dies, and before that he was out there yelling pathetically in Elliot's face. Elliot tells Tyrell he just doesn't care about him, and I believe that. Not really. I don't believe it entirely. I just feel like as long as Tyrell's alive, that's cool. Other than that, there's no care for him in the world. He could really care less, and that's fine. But all of these things considered, Tyrell is pathetic. And that's why he's on the list. That's why he's there. But let's talk about Patrick Bateman. I've written essays about this, published nowhere, by the way. At some point, I was like, I'm going to make video essays one day because I just have intelligent things to say. And then when I actually put it on paper, it was complete garbage. But now I'm in a space where I acknowledge that a lot of the things I'm saying are complete garbage. So I'm going to regurgitate those points. Patrick Bateman is depicted as, again, like your classic stone cold killer. He was written that way in Bret Easton Ellis's book American Psycho, but in the movie, where he's portrayed by Christian Bale, so that might be an additional factor, he's made to be this pathetic individual with no sense of self at all, who needs the approval of others, especially in a corporate setting, gets broken so easily the minute that someone like beats him at another thing. And if they do that, he has to kill him. He killed Jared Leto's character, which solidified pathetic behavior because he was jealous. And who knows, maybe none of these things actually happened in American Psycho. I've seen that theory. Just an inherently pathetic person, and I will never discuss anything else about that. He killed hookers because they made fun of the fact that he was listening to, I believe, Whitney Houston.
Do you know that, Chrissy?
You actually listen to Whitney Houston? You own a Whitney Houston CD? What am I one?
It's hard to choose a favorite among so many great tracks.
He's incredibly jealous, and jealousy is a very pathetic trait to have. Why do you, as a man, feel threatened about what another man has? I'm not gonna say that's gay, but it is pathetic. So now we're going to bring up, I'm gonna make a triangle. TW for Tyrell Wellick, PB for Patrick Bateman. What do you think goes at the very top of this triangle? Who do you think fits this? Pathetic men in suits. Okay, you guys can read that. So who do you think is going to fit that as my most recent obsession that has honestly consumed a very, very large part of my life?
And at the top of the pyramid is Kendall.
Kendall Logan Roy. The reason why I had this up here, I would never wear this fucking shirt in public. I just thought it fit. Let's talk about it, because this is the one that's most fresh in my mind. You guys don't know, but you do know how ravenous I get about this man, and not even like, oh, like she's feisty, she's like a fox type of way. No, like in a cannibalistic, she's a fucking monster type of way. I know this is a piece of shit. Like, this is a horrible, horrible person. But have you guys considered that he's been through so much? Have you guys considered that, like, his dad did not love him the right way? His mom didn't love him the right way. He had eating disorder. He's probably autistic. And, he's, like, infertile or something. Like, he didn't get the CEO job, which is honestly the very least of his problems. But, like, have you guys considered that he's just been through a lot?
My little cousin, cause I found out he bisexual. And
I know none of the Roys are good people. I'm aware of that. Like, my media literacy is at least to the point where, like, yes, these are not good people. But have you considered that I don't care? At the end of the day, when all is said and done, this is my man. To quote Jeremy Strong, I take Kendall Roy as serious as I take my own life. I don't play about Kendall Roy at all. Tom got the CEO position. I wasn't laughing. Oh my god, Kendall tried to kill himself. I'm not laughing. I am not laughing. And I've laughed at the multiple horrible things that have happened to many of these characters. But this is the one where it's like, no, the ain't shit funny. I cried when Tyrell died. That's a given. Who else did I cry about? No one. No one on this list did I cry over.
I just slapped the fuck out of a nigga with freckles.
I didn't cry when, like, very impactful but minuscule things happened to Tyrell. I didn't feel anything when his wife just said, I really do not love you at all. This was a mistake. This marriage is a sham. I believe she was in a hospital when she said that. I didn't cry or feel bad then. I was just like, damn, that sucks. But it also makes it more pathetic, so I'm more captivated. But anytime that this man right here would go through hell, like, I almost shat myself during the season 3 finale. Girl, get up. Girl, get up. There was no way, like, they were going to kill him season 3. There's no way. Nobody in his family fucked with him. I could say Clarissa, they obviously loved him. It was just tough love. I don't care. Oh my god. Like, it was nothing was funny about the way that they would screw him over. And mind you, he screwed family over multiple times. Like, when he played Rape Me by Nirvana during Shiv's little speech, was that before or no, that was before. I kind of giggled. But no, I love me some Shiv. No one, this comment section is not going to be a safe space for Shiv hate, but I did giggle. But when Shiv wrote that letter about him, I was fucking livid, bro. I was like, that is not a sister. That's not your sister. That, you're adopted at that point. When Roman pushed him on his 40th birthday in front of everybody and he fell first, like, back showing. From that point forward, I didn't care if Roman lived or died. For the sake of my Twitter DMs not being filled with death threats from Romanistas, I had to pretend to give a fuck about Roman Roy from that point forward. I could really care less about Roman. I think if I cared any less about Roman Roy, a big ol' hole would open up in my heart full of hatred. When Logan died, that was the best feeling ever as a Kendall girl. I was cheering. I was so happy. I didn't care for Roman's grief, by the way. I cared about Shiv's grief because I love Shiv. But seeing him cry, and this is probably because of the actor himself. I just don't see anyone else playing him, to be honest. I was about to jump through the screen. I was going to jump in and grab him and just, like, hold him to me and just, like, reassure. Like, that's what, realistically, that's what I would have done. But because this is the real world and not this delusion that I live in which, you know, he's real and I react to him the way that I do with real human beings, that couldn't happen. So I just had to go on Twitter about it. I'll put it like this. This character is single-handedly responsible for the large amounts of cystic acne and 15-pound weight gain I had during the final season. And when season 4 hit and when it finished, I had gained 15 pounds, had the most painfully tender cystic acne, and I just noticed that my stomach had more hair than usual. I fully believe that this show made me develop polycystic ovarian syndrome. I think that's what it's called. PCOS. Yes, that. She really trying for that thumbnail. Every time that Rava was on screen, I was just like, your wife, your ex-wife, does not love you. But I do.
Fuck the bitch, then I bought her a pickle.
That doesn't mean I hated Rava. I love Rava, and I think a lot of people are too harsh on her. They expect people to know how to deal with addicts, which he is, and deal with traumatized individuals, which he also is. But that's not realistic. We're never gonna know how to treat these individuals 100%. So she was very much in her right to be the way that she was towards him, and she obviously still loved him. Not romantically, but like she cared if this man was alive or dead. But that being said, I would have put up with it. I don't know what that says about me. I do. This is a lie though, because I really could not fix him. If anything, I'm going to tell you guys how this would go down. Realistically, if I were with someone like this, I would do everything I could to be the bubbly existence, to be the MPDG that he needs to really recover and to be happy. But I would get sick of it maybe year 2. Maybe 4. And I would leave him. And then I would have to deal with the excessive guilt that I failed this individual. And this individual would remind me of it. Yes, I did do that. Because you weren't improving. This motherfucker just never improves. He claimed to have had a therapist in season 4. Fire that therapist. But alas, every time this man was teary-eyed on screen, I just felt a huge pang in my heart. And he isn't the only character to cry on this show, but it was the only character that I really cared about if he did cry. So what does this say about me? Now, I've done some research. If you are a woman exhibiting this pattern of attraction to not just men, but also women, anyone who is just incredibly pathetic, and you feel so bad for them, like you need to help, I'm gonna break you down here. According to Julia Straub therapy, what is referred to as the fixer mentality, it's a coping mechanism seeking to create a safe space in otherwise unstable or chaotic conditions. But why a coping mechanism? Well, because the said fixer has a very low self-esteem. They have a very, very big sense of inadequacy in their life, in which their purpose, the thing that decides if they are worthy of love or not, or life even, is how useful they are to those around them. And this could be something that developed due to relationship trauma, but also childhood. You know, if time from time again, there was a certain level of you being berated for being useless, and you would be praised for being so helpful, that might have something to do with it. So revalue your life. And remember, this cycle of Captain Save-A-Foo that we got going on here, your brain has this need to be useful to them, and that is what you believe love is. I'm going to bet part of the time that when horrible things would happen to you, you wanted someone to save you. It would have meant the world to you if someone could get you out of that situation. So you feel that if you were to just heal this individual and fix everything going up in their fucked up ass life, that is the ultimate sign of love. Not the fact that, you know, you're dedicated to them and, you know, are willing to be supportive. No, you have to fix everything or else you aren't shit to that person. And that's just how you feel. Let's put it this way. A normal person wants to make people happy. A codependent person with the fixer mentality, they want to be the one true healer for someone, the reason that they're just always happy, even though that's highly unrealistic. A normal person would want to offer solutions and be happy if they were to work, and just be like, that's unfortunate if the solutions they offer don't happen to work. A codependent individual with a fixer mentality want to be the reason that someone experiences no problems and are filled with this type of euphoria when their solutions work, but this entirely depressive feeling that just keeps growing and growing when they don't provide a useful solution. And I will go a step extra and say, when someone or something else does offer their loved one a solution, it angers them, because that's supposed to be my job. But that's just what I think. Now, as attractive as they are, I will say it again, a normal person would assess that these are people that you should avoid, because you will not only disappoint them, but you will also disappoint yourself, and it's an unstable situation. A person with a fixer mentality is going to just climb their way until they get the relationship with that person and mold them into this very unbothered and just completely happy version of themselves. But because we live in the real world on planet Earth, it's not going to happen. Just filled with delusion to fulfill what you couldn't have for yourself, which was someone to save you from your own fucked up ass life. So now you gotta save someone from their fucked up ass life. That's how that works. And another thing, a lot of these times that people with this fixer mentality, and I'm speaking not from a professional standpoint, but from a standpoint where this is very much me. Not actively. Back then, when I would have friendships with people who were just so unstable, and it would kill me not being able to help them. But also I'd be like, what do you mean this other thing worked for you and not the thing I told you to do? That type of thing. I guarantee you that you believe that if you were to magically just erase all of these people's problems, that you yourself would be happy, when you really can't even take care of your own shit. How can you expect to fix somebody else when your fucking house appears just a mess as well? I would really love to know that. It's people who seek out a project. This applies to men too. Do you know how many times I have seen just TikToks of men saying that they need a depressed, bipolar, BPD shoddy? That, well, no, you don't. The BPD shoddy in question is prone to certain outbursts, sometimes certain behaviors that are going to become too much for you. She's not going to curl up on your shoulder and just let you relish in the fact that she's struggling so that you be her Byronic hero. That's not what's going to happen. You see, what's going to happen is that you are going to become so drained by this individual if they themselves are not getting professional help, not just some dude on TikTok with fluffy hair. And then you are going to complain about other BPD, bipolar, depressed shotties out there, and that's just not fair. You did that shit to yourself. I did say there was nothing here, but this is a regurgitated point that I'm making. Just, if you can't even handle your own shit, maybe avoid people who have shit of their own to deal with, because you're not going to fix it. I'm so glad I'm not like that anymore. Like, I really just could care less. Oh my god.